Chairperson, Vice Chancellor, I want us to engage on your GBV stats. The presentation you gave us gives a clear tabulation of the resolution versus the referral to SEPS. I just need you to quickly, in 2 minutes, give me a breakdown on why all of them weren't all referred to SEPS, what differentiates those that were referred to SEPS and those that were resolved internally.
Is that it also depends on the actual case itself and the investigation that has taken place. And
Can I cut you?
Some of the
I'm going to ask Isma. I really truly respect you, but you've seen there's 10 minutes and I don't have time. So obviously I understand that you had an investigation, and obviously by virtue of there being a differentiation, it means the nature of the investigation is different. But I need you to explain quickly explain the nature. Don't give me the history of what a nature is. Just quickly, the nature of the differentiation. So in case one, the person withdrew give me that.
I cannot be able to do that to you now because I've given you full numbers. Also, I would now need to go back and say this out of the 16 cases in 2024, what happened to each one and why each one was referred to SAPS. I wouldn't know that off by heart.
Please, can I request that you do that in writing, but in that writing, also give submissions for the psychosocial support referrals, because there's a deviation as well. Because in my understanding, if there's 16 cases in 2022, then it means there must be 16 psychosocial supports unless people died or unless people just didn't want to go to therapy or what. So please explain that.
You've just answered it. You can't force a person to go to therapy.
Yes, yeah. Okay. But then it must be clear from the university side that you referred and the student said no, because from the reading of the presentation, it looks like it says referrals, not referrals accepted, which are two different things altogether. So it can be clear. But my interest, number one, is how, because for me, it doesn't make sense that out of 17 cases that were reported, that only 5 of them were referred to SAPS, because then it means you did your own internal investigation inside, and then that means there was no criminality, and that the cases that were reported were not worthy for SAPS to deal and continue with prosecutions. That's why I'm asking. Give it in detail so that I don't assume why only 5 of 17 cases last year were referred to SAPS when the rest were resolved internally. That must make sense. Number 2, SRC President Matsetse. Are the beds fine now as we speak?
I would say that because we had to put pressure, we haven't gotten an indication from the student. So I would assume that they are fine. I don't want to say that they are perfectly fine.
So are you saying since you made a noise about it, there's no other student that has, in your recollection as the executive authority of students, that has come back to you to say,
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
Yes.
So I can safely assume management addressed the issues of Matsetse. It's
I
okay
would
to say
assume
yes.
that, because I don't want to speak on behalf of the management.
Fine.
Right?
Okay, that is okay. Again, you spoke about restrictive policies. Apart from the permission to protest, which is a standard across South Africa, even myself as a member of parliament, if I want to launch to the streets, I must apply to the police for doing that. So that's very legal, and we must do that within the legals. So what exactly, when you say there are restrictive policies within the institution, what exactly are those so that we can help you deal with them? What are they?
Okay. I think, because
Let me answer.
can the SG answer it, because she dealt with it into them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the question. So, when we are talking about the restriction policy, we understand that the one of protest, that we understand that you are saying that it is the standard policy, but we have got the main concern when it comes to policy is that as students we are not even consulted. You will just see, for example, let me give you an example with the thing of online voting. They just called an SRC and say that you must have an online meeting, for example. Then after that meeting, we did indicate that we are not sure about this thing if it's going to be good enough for students. Within an hour, we were saying the communique that was saying that in consultation with the SRC, we are going to have an online voting. So all the policies that are in Sifako, most of them, the students didn't raise their voices in them. Residence policies, segregation, and all those kind of things. I feel like they're suppressing the student voice, and they are not fair, because we were not consulted. You just receive a call, hey chief, hey, we have got the what that is happening, an online meeting or whatever meeting, and then whatever opinion that you raise, they don't take it.
Okay, thank you, SG. So now you've raised the second matter, ne? The issue of consultation, it's a serious one and it's wrong, particularly if it's going to affect how students are governed every day, how they live, how they enjoy campus life, and how they exercise their democratic right within campus. So you can't just exclude them and think as management you are the gods of the gospel and you know better than them. So that's wrong. But the issue I'm raising here, when I Secretary General, it's separate to the consultation. You mentioned specifically that there are policies that are restrictive. So I want to help you deal with the restriction right now to say what policy is restrictive. Is it is policy number one, and this is how it restricts students, so that we can advise on how to make it flexible. That's what I need you to help me with.
Okay, personally, I feel like the very same policy that is restricting the students is the one of student. It is the one which is called a policy and the management of student protest action. Because I feel like it restricts us, because as SRC, we don't even have energy to apply those things and all that, because there is no any other policy that can protect us. Or if maybe these people are not responding to our strike, what should we do? And also, this policy, sometimes I feel like when it comes to students, like this policy, I feel like it's restricting us because it's suppressing our voice.
Okay. SG, I'm sitting here as a former president myself. My goal is to help you. I can't help you do illegal things though, however. So my issue is, if you're going to say, you must be able to help me prove how the policy of the institution is inconsistent with the provisions of the rest of the country as far as demonstrations are concerned. So that I can help, and the committee can help you best ensure that management doesn't keep you quiet. So if management is saying, like the university, like the Central University of Technology in the Free State, for example, the Vice Chancellor thinks it is bogus altogether for people to protest. And the minute you protest, they clobber you with an interdict and you must go to court. That is completely wrong. And if that is the case here, then that is what you should be dealing with. But if management is saying, protest all you want, but at least do it within the law so that there's a notice, as we as the political parties, even your own party, the EFF, would know that they must submit a thing before. So can I ask that I give you time to, in writing, to submit through the Secretary General a list of policies that are restrictive, that infringe on your freedoms as students, that infringe on your academic freedom on campus, and then to give us highlights so that we can help advise how to make sure that there's consistency there. That is okay. Okay.
Yes, I will do that.
Well, you'll do that, okay. As far as infrastructure is concerned, DDG Sotrikwa, there's a reoccurring theme about infrastructure being a problem within the institution. So I want to get to you. Are you of the opinion that the reason why the institution is unable to maintain and rebuild the infrastructures because either they're not getting enough money, or have you given them money and they've not used it properly?
She's out of the meeting.
Is the mic on there?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Honourable Member, the infrastructure problems at SMU in particular are a product of many issues. One of them, from where we are sitting, is poor project management, poor procurement management, poor contract management, and poor oversight. So that's what we've observed. We've engaged extensively. I have an internal project team inside DHEAD. Myself and DDG Gaza work around infrastructure matters, and you would give SMU deadlines. For example, on the library or the 2,000 bed project, and every time you meet them, so every quarter, every time you meet them, the deadline is extended. Ultimately, we said to our project team they must go and babysit the SMU staff. Then they would have a revolving door around the directors appointed to oversee infrastructure. So every year there's a new person appointed to oversee the same project.
So, GDG, my worry then is I can't be sitting in this meeting here in the department complaining about their kids, because you are responsible for reprimanding and holding this institution to account. If you are of the opinion that you have had multiple engagements with the institution to try to ensure that there's compliance, make sure that the coffers of this country are protected and used respectfully. So you are supposed to come back to us and tell us how have you held them accountable. You can't come and complain that they are ungovernable, because when that complaint to me, Chairperson, means you don't have the teeth to bite. That all the department does is to bark, but ultimately you don't have the capacity internally within the department to deal with delinquents.
Chair, I wouldn't say universities are delinquents. I really wouldn't say that. I would say they struggle, and we have intervened. We have project managers who went and literally guided them, but ultimately, universities are autonomous unless the Act gives us the powers to take over the roles of all these executives that sit here. We don't have those powers. We withhold funding, we curtail funding. Sometimes we withhold it to a point we see project updates. More than that, we cannot do.
Just one final one, Chair, I'm just done. Just my conclusion.
10 seconds.
Yes, 10 seconds. I think this again takes us back to the drawing board, because I'm tired since the previous administration even in this administration to be sitting in the room with DHET and universities and DHET saying they don't have the power to hold institutions accountable, and then institutions come here, they don't even rate us for half a mileage. That's why they don't even respect how they engage with us in honesty, because they know they can't be held accountable. So yeah.
Thank you.